Hello, welcome to another Random Code stream. This is part 2 of me working on this issue right here. So hopefully I can make some more progress in that this morning. Let me get my music going so we can get right into it. All right, so where I need to go here is I did get tests around our extensions for the reader and the writer. But in thinking about this more, I'm not sure I like having these separate methods here for write nullable and read nullable. Because frankly, the only thing, if you look on what is on a read, it's a double decimal. A char array is nullable. Boolean byte array is nullable. Bytes, which we don't use because we need to just read bytes. Char array, chars, decimal, double, ints, that's ours. Yeah, so everything is, other than the arrays and a string, everything else is a value type. And so putting in like a func and you got to pass in a delegate, and I'm like, I think we should just inline this code and not do this at all. Well, we have to do it, but inline it. So basically we want to do something like okay, hold on. Read inline. That's going to be the sorry, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this in real time. We're doing it live because I want to report this. This is an extract method code refactoring profile. I know watching somebody submit a bug report isn't very don't know, just submitting it, let them deal with it. Okay. I did something today. I accomplished sending a bug report. I can't imagine what it must be like to have to deal with, and it's not to say that, well, this means their tool is very unstable, but to deal with the sheer amount of feedback that they get from the community on stuff. That's, I mean, in a way that shows that people definitely use the tool, but it's got to be extremely hard to manage all that. Okay. So we're going to remove these, but I want to, okay, so we want to do read inline and then write inline. C#. And then let's go to the writer extensions, and we want to do something like this. And so we want to read the value. If it's not, from the property, if it's not null, then we'll write this, else we'll do this. And we can just do that pattern. And we can actually put in here. Yeah, I just wanted to write that code down because I'm about to delete it. We don't want this. We don't want this either. And then we need to go to our tests because those are going to fail now. Okay, let's just run these tests real quick. Okay, so let's actually start what I'm really trying to do here. And we're going to do this by saying, okay, we put the attribute on something. What we get back is, so I'm going to say we want to add on a partial type, right? So we create a partial class here. And then the first thing we're going to do, we're basically going to go through all of the types here. And we can say, as a note, look at as the start. Okay, so let's do because I think business space is the first one to do, and then from that point on, everything else trickles from that point. Rather, it should start making a cascade effect. Okay, so we want to say build here. So this will be, let's do the writer first. Here's the build writer. So this is where we say we're implementing our set state method. And we want to build a write operation. And then if it's customizable, we set custom state. And that's purely up to the implementer themselves if they're implementing that interface to now set the custom state. That's on them. And then this is what we want to get rid of as well. We want to have something in here to say, do they implement this interface? Has metastate, which when I looked at CSLA, the way Rocky implemented it, I think all of the business objects should have it, but I don't want to make that assumption. I think it's better to say, let's check to make sure. So to do that, we're going to do a try create, and then we create a serialization model here. I don't want to say has metastate. This implements metastate equals. So then we'll basically do this. Except what we want to have here is this. And then we don't have that property. Well, we are now. Cool. Nice. Okay, so we got that. We should be able to say here now if model implements metastate. What we want to do is call the metastate interface. We want to do it as a cast. So we're going to write indent, writer, write, line. So we're going to do a cast here. On myself. And this will be the set metastate method. No, we want the get metastate method. Yeah. Yeah, because we're reading the values in the writer. Sorry. So we want to say get metastate. And then if we look at this, is global. That. There. That should kill all that. We don't need that anymore. We're saying that the object itself... Oh, we need to be a little bit smarter than this. We actually need to... yeah, okay, so we need to be a little bit more... So we want to say here, var metastate is equal to this. And then on the writer, context writer dot write. And what we want to write, whoops, not the read, is the length, metastate length, metastate. There. Now we've written it. Okay. So that gets rid of all of that code. And while I'm here, if I go into the generator and I say builder, file types. Why would you do that? Okay, so business. So, go away. Where is this being called from? Get output code. Where is this being called from? Oh, that's where it is. Okay, okay. Go away. Jesus, why are you... Sorry. So, this whole thing can go away because we don't want this anymore. So this context extensions... Bye-bye. That makes this go away. There. And so we don't do that anymore. Nice. Hopefully. There's a lot of hope that the implementer of the type is actually getting and setting their metastate correctly, because if they're not, then this doesn't work. And then I go yell at Rocky. And I can yell at him all week because I'm going to be in Orlando this coming week. at VS Live Orlando. And we're doing a workshop on Monday, and we're probably going to go to dinner a couple times. So yeah, I can yell at him. All right. We still have to, in the write operations, though, yeah, because we handle... Do you do any home labbing? I don't know what that means. Sorry, Jam. I don't know what that means. I am sure the first pass at this I'm going to miss. A whole bunch of things. Like the string builder here, the nullable value type. If I look at the nullable value type, see, this is what we're already kind of doing with the nullable value. Self-hosting apps and services, essentially. No, I don't. Nothing against it, I just don't. So we want to do this in the string builder. Actually, once we do it in the string builder, for the writer and the reader, once, everything should get it. So what we want to do here is say read prop. We want to put this in up there now. Damn it. What is value? Oh, we want to pass that in now to here because we need it. That's just an incrementing field that we can use for variables. And yeah, to give it different context. So what we want to say here is now writer write value variable, because we're reading. Wait, we don't want to write it. We want to read the value first, and we want to read it, and we have to do that because it's always going to be null. But then we check if it's not null. Then we put in that we have a value and we write out the value. Otherwise we say no. And then we don't do this anymore. So yeah, now we can go back to being an expression body. But that's actually nice. It's actually in a way nice that I did all this abstraction because it's going to make these one and done for everything, I think. At least that's the hope. And then we should be able to do something very close to this for the array. Which we already are. And the only thing that we need to do here is do that. Yeah, we're only handling one-dimensional arrays that are bytes or chars. So we already got this in place. We just needed that there. Cool. Okay, so we did the writer part of the base, I think. Because we go through each item and we do the write operation. And put some space in between them all, because why not? I don't know how ugly that's going to look. But now we can do the reader. And yeah, so that's a little different. If we go to the string builder and we go to build reader, what we want to do now again is somewhat similar to this, except very different. We do want to do this. Which is to say we want to read to say if there's a value. Then what we're going to do is actually this. Actually, let's do right there. Because then, boom, it does it for us. So this builds... We go into here. The right call for us to actually and then we can do that. Yeah, so this does the load property. To do this can probably go away. I don't know why. To-dos are to-don'ts because you never get back around to doing them. So that's the property based on that. And we know that we have to call reader read string if there's a value. We read the state value, and if that's value, then we do this. If it was anything else, we don't care. We don't do anything because we don't handle duplication with these. I think that actually, we just solved it all. Because we saw that the array builders were doing the right thing. If we go to array builder, both the reader and the writer are already handling if it's null or not. The only one we needed to handle was the string. And we're now doing that. Okay. Well, let's see if I'm way off on my theory or not. So if I run this, this is going to fail because the code will definitely be different at the very least. What failed? Oh, I didn't do that. I thought I did. Oh, on the command base builder. Okay, that was another one because I changed it. Yeah, okay. No problem. No value variable. Okay, let's actually just build this real quick. Okay, so now that builds. And now we should be back in my test. Thank you. Go away. What now? Oh, yeah, that goes away because we don't need it anymore. Okay, okay. Hopefully now we can actually just run this test. It should fail, which is fine. Oh, come on. What is... Wait, what did it say here? Alt 1. Oh, you went back to Alt 1 now. You were Alt 2. You switched it in Insiders, but now you're Alt 1 again. I swear. Okay, so let's just get rid of the generated code that's currently here and regenerate it so that we can easily copy it. Yeah, the thing I'm complaining about is that there's a shortcut that you can use if you're in the test method where you see the code lens thing, the little red X there. It's always been Alt-1, and then that brings up this awful window, but that's what I used to grab the text. It changed to Alt-2 in Insiders for some bizarre reason. I don't know why. So let's just grab all this, and then we'll take a look at it and see if it makes any sense. So we want to grab that. Nope, no, don't always show. Okay, fine. That's what we wanted. Now, does this build? No, it does not. Why doesn't it build? Lots of reasons why. And I can't read this. This window is the crappiest window in Visual Studio. Seriously, it is so awful. Let's just grab this here and put it here. I have the feeling I just missed a semicolon and it's going nuts because of that. Maybe not, I don't know. We should have the extensions in scope because we have serialization extensions, or we have, yeah, the extensions there. So that should work. Where is it? Saying on line 28. So if we go here, 45, 28, 73. What is wrong with possible null ref? That's just a cast. What am I missing here? Probably a lot. Let's make sure I got this right. It is get metastate, right? Yeah, that's fine. And the cache should be correct here. What am I missing? Well, let's do this. Because we can code dump. That's... Oh, fine. I guess I should be doing that technically, but that's not going to hurt anything. And that creates just saying, oh, it's code that we can't handle. Okay, so then we can put this up here. We can ignore that. We can ignore the namespace domains, and then we can do the partial class. All right. So what now is causing a problem? Set state. Make customer Oh, shut up. Don't need that. Don't care about that. Oh, this needs to be right here. And we didn't get rid of the metastate things on the reader side. Okay. That's right. Okay, so, you know, it helps. It really does help if, when you're writing code, that it's correct. That is a pro tip for everybody out there. I just realized I called this string builder. There's a type out there called string builder. Whatever. I don't care. Wait, where did I do this? This was... Oh, yeah. It wasn't in the string builder. It was in the business base builder. Right here. Okay. And then in the reader, we want to take this out because we don't need it anymore. And then like we did in the writer, we sneak this in between the write operations and the custom state. And this matters because if we don't do it in the same order, everything goes haywire. That's another professional word that you can use. So that explains this. We can get rid of that now. Except now we need to read and this is just the meta state. So in this case, we're reading it from the object and we're writing it. Now we need to read from the context reader dot read byte array. Right? Read things. Binary reader extensions. Reader dot read byte array. And we should actually be able to do this in one shot. We should be able to say here. Actually, we could just say no. Oh God! Stop it. No, stop trying to be helpful. We can just do a right line, I think. So we can say here, we're going to cast ourselves to this again. And we're going to say set meta state, passing in this. There, and then that's done. Okay, so now if we go back to our test, we have to just basically kill all that again. Okay, so now let's just... God, this is why also developers freak out if a tool changes their key bindings, because you build up muscle memory and suddenly the tool is not doing what your muscles have, you've trained your muscles to do in your fingers. And it's like, ugh. It passed. It doesn't mean it's right, but it passed. Yippee. Now the problem is I can't do any of my integration tests without doing some finagling in this project file. But this is a big accomplishment in that at least this code compiles. I would really want to try to actually run this against some cases with yeah. I also don't like is we have a right line and then it puts a space at the end. Why? Don't do that. Don't put the space at the, the right line. Don't do that. Don't do that. Okay. But I think we now, with our business-based tests, we have one passing. That's good. So let's at least commit this and say we finally have a NRT plus reflection-free serialization path with business base. Nice. Nice. And yeah, that's why I have space between all these, because I also put the property here that, actually, let's do that while I'm here, before I forget. Well, nah, we'll leave that the way it is. These are the fields, and then this junk would just be the metastate and the custom serialization if it's there. Okay. Very nice. Very, very nice. Now, I think we got, let's get rid of this diagnostic code because we don't need it anymore. We don't want to save that. So this is done. Let's go look at business list space. Okay, so what do we do in here that we need to change now? Once this is fixed, I should uncomment the edit level call. I think. Well, since again, I'm saying to the object, you're responsible for handling this, not me. I am not responsible for this crap. Okay, so we can do business base builder because we're going to basically take, no, not the test. Business base builder. So in the reader, we do that. Except for some bizarre reason. We indent. Okay. And then we should just be able to yank this code out of here. And so that's the reader, and then in the writer, we do the same thing. Except indented, for some bizarre reason. And then this can be moved up because we don't need this anymore. Same thing here. I know, it's a little ugly, but it's being consistent. Cool. That definitely gets rid of some code that I really don't want because it's nasty. So now we should have, and there's going to be more tests that I need to clean up. But if I go into business list-based tests here, I think all of this is going to need to go, because that's a business list base, that's a business base. Yeah, so all of this is gonna, there's three things that get generated here, and in this case, because we have a list, we want, parents and children. So all that's going to change. So let's see how it changes. This is for the... It should be for the experiments. Okay. So we do that. So what do we get here? We get the values, read and load. And then we also do the metastate. This should also fail, but it should fail because the next one is the datum. I should make a dating app called Datum. Why? I have no idea. I haven't dated in, what, 30 years? I've been married now for 28. We knew each other for just over a year before we got married. And I met her in July of 1996. So yeah, it's been almost 30 years at least. So... Oh, what happened there? What is datum? It's a business list space. Oh, I see what happened. Yeah, on the writer, we definitely need a right line to close it off. And I bet the same thing happened on the... Yeah. Because I removed that reflection code that had the matching brace there. So, whoops. Alright, so let's put that code here. And now let's look through it. Hey, look, we no longer have invalid C# code. We have this, man, God, this ugly little space at the end. I don't like that. Wait, what? Yeah. Oh. It doesn't implement it. Okay. So we should do is say, if this is here, then put a space there. And if this is here, put a space there. Okay. Sorry, it took me a second to realize this isn't actually implementing it, but I want this check in here regardless, because we should be looking at all the stereotypes of CSLA and always checking to see if they do or don't. And then if they don't, we just don't generate this code. Okay. That's what was throwing me, so... Let's go generate that and at that content now. Because if for some reason in the future Rocky decides to make this one implement metastate, we've got it covered. Okay, that definitely looks nicer now. Okay, so then the last one here. Should do all the right things. Yeah, so now does this compile? Nope. Why not? What did I miss? Apparently a whole bunch of things. Pulsable. Why am I trying to sound British? I don't know what was going on in my mouth there. Unfortunately, it's... Oh, that's in the code itself. 20. Okay. So 31. Yeah, okay. That's what it's complaining about there. And then 45. 55. Yeah, I was not picking that. I kept forgetting that that's what's doing there. Okay, so that takes care of those two. Converting null or possible null value to non-nullable type. This is in datum 43. 43. 138. I wonder if this is just a hanging issue from NRT and not anything to do with reflection stuff. They both look at the same line. Void list data add. Possible null reference argument for parameter item. Does our get reference? Oh, it returns an object. Well, I guess what we need to do now in our business list-based builder is on the reader, we just need to yoink. Just say, it better not be null. Yeah, I actually had it here, and then I just didn't do it on the deleted list. So now we should have it here. Hopefully that fixes it. Yeah, it did. Cool. Cool, cool, cool. So now we have business list based done. Okay. what about command base? What do you do? We already handled the reading of the properties here. So all we need is to do the metastate thing. Okay. That's in the writer. And then in the reader, again, got to do the same thing. Got to catch them all. We do that. All right, so now let's look at a test. And see what we missed here. No, oh my God, that was totally wrong. You gotta do that first. Let's take a look at this quick. It does do metastate. Although, again, I'm going to want to say if we do metastate, let's put a space there. And then if we do customization, let's put a, not space, a line there, just to make it look a little nicer. Lines. And then, yeah, we already have that there. Then let's do that here. Okay, so what that should do is literally just add a line there. Yep, perfect. Let's just look at our business base again. Wait. Oh, we don't. Okay, let's be consistent here. So on the business base, we're always putting a line here. Let's don't do that. Let's always be consistent with our code. So that we're doing the same thing everywhere. And then we don't need a right line there. Yeah, I like that better. And then in the reader, we're not going to be putting a right line there. Wait, did we? We did say right lines, okay. And then we'll do the same thing here. We'll take that off. Yes. Okay. It should not change anything in our business base test. Oh, crap. Did it just... Ah, I see. This isn't like an implementation problem, it's a spacing problem. I want the code to look at least a little decently. Okay, so when we're in Business Base Builder, and we do writer, I would so love a 4. And then we just say if I God, why did you there? Okay, and then the reader will do the same thing. Okay, so now that should make the spacing in Business Base correct. I don't think in Business List Base we'd ever do that. Yeah, because we're just doing these things, so we don't ever have that case come up. Okay, and then in Command Base Builder, in the writer, do we just... Wait, we did it in Business Base, and then I said back here to Command Base, which we're currently... We don't put the line except... Okay. And then Command Base. All right. If we go to our Business Base test, it passes. If we go to our Command Base test now, it passes. Perfect. Read-only base. What does the read-only base do? Did I just do this in some of these and not others? I guess. These are different classes, right? Okay, so the read-only base builder, yeah, should be the same thing as business base. So we just plop this in here. Okay, and then we say this, except we need to say right lines, except 3, 1. Right, in this case, we don't have to move them over because they're already being indented. Okay. Yeah, okay, that's fine. That was in the reader. Yep, and now in the writer. I basically do that. Perfect. Hopefully. So now let's go down here and see a read-only test. And we have 2, that's fine. Perfect. Read-only test is done. Like I said, I felt like once I got one of these done, the other one should fall fairly quickly-ish. And then list space, I bet, is going to be very similar to now, is read-only, in my opinion, should be a metastate property. It's not. We should not be concerned with that. Now, if it's not, to me, that means that there's something that's been missed. Because we, again, we as a serialization author should not have to worry about this. We're going to find out. Okay, so this should be very similar to business list space. And then if we say implements metastate, we should do that. And then if it's customizable, we put the line there. And then we don't do this. I'm going to insist. We should not have to do that. Should not be the job of... Oh, and then... Shoot. That's right. We need the right line. Because, again, reasons. There. So now if I go to a business list space test... No. Wrong. Incorrect. Not a business list space test. A read-only list space test. We already did the business list space test. That's good. Okay. Grab this one, and then we'll have one more, and then we can see if this actually compiles or not. Did it again. First of all, I don't like the way that's spacing out here. Okay, so let's quickly generate that again. Okay, so now what is oh, I bet it's this. No, not that. Yep. Cool. All right. Now they all pass. At least these tests pass. There's more unit tests that I have that I need to check. But I'm wondering. Well, that sucked. Let's shut down and start up again. Did you... Oh, I severely missed these when I was changing stuff. Okay, and then actually I can say that. What else did I miss? What about now? Why is it saying that it can't load the assembly? Argument of type cannot be used for parameter custom serialization of type re-only span customer serialization and blah 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 due to the differences in nullability type. I don't know why we're running into that now, but whatever. If you got to put an exclamation point in places, then like this custom serializer, that is a constructor. It's returning an instance of it. I changed this to being a params read-only span, and somehow that's flipping it out to think that that the nullability doesn't match, and I don't understand that at all. That just like it feels like it's a bug. Well, now we're back to this problem. Cannot load a file or assembly CSLA. Huh? We do? Um, this used to work. It's not working now. So what I'm puzzled about is this is a project that references the generator project as an analyzer type. Okay. It also references CSLA directly. And the reason it does this is because the analysis package uses CSLA as a private asset. In other words, it doesn't actually, like, it's when you install it, it doesn't like include CSLA as part of that package installation, if that makes sense. It doesn't quite make sense to me either. But what the hope was is that saying, well, we build this analysis package or this assembly, we reference CSLA, but what we're expecting is the user to be referencing CSLA in their project. Because the code that we generate has nothing to do with CSLA. So this is a little concerning because this did work. Unless there's something I'm missing when it's building. I don't think I am. Because it's explicitly saying it can't find CSLA. But I've tested the resulting package before, and that works just fine. So I'm a little concerned about this. Okay, this won't help anything, but this is something I want to do for my project here. Is I want to have the artifacts. That's the word I was looking for. Again, it won't help with this, but okay, so then let's go into rocks, because that's reliable, because we know we already do it there. And let's use artifacts output. Okay, and then we come into CSLA source generator. sneeze. Excuse me. Ugh. Okay, so let's go back into Visual Studio. This isn't going to fix anything, but I just want to... Yeah, I don't understand that. Oh, and then the package is wrong because now it's looking for things here. Okay, let's fix that quick. So if we go into rocks, this again is not going to fix the problem that I'm looking at. But we should see README. This is... So we should see artifacts bin and then this. Yeah, okay. So that is correct. Right, because we stored that there. And then this should be now configuration. That. And then that's the package path. Okay. Could not find a part of the path. Source artifacts bin. Hey, bug. So see source artifacts bins, CslaGeneratorSerialization. Debug. Oh. Really? All right. At least we got rid of that area, but it's still complaining about CSLA. I don't know how to solve this at the moment. This is something that was working. And now it's not. I don't understand why. Yeah, I know it's not generating any files. The thing that I did it the way I did it is because if your project, your analyzer project, needs to reference other assemblies, then the way to reference those so they're in your package so that they're available for the analyzer becomes rather problematic. In fact, it gets to become a real pain in the butt. And so what I was hoping for is that this integration test project is just referencing that analysis project with CSLA being here. And then it would just find it and pick it up because it does need CSLA. I'm wondering if something changed. Because when is the last time I actually did anything with this? I don't think. I never did anything with this for 10. If I look at the history of this. Yeah, all of this has been done in 9. I wonder if there's something in Visual Studio 10 that, or Visual Studio 2026 with .NET 10, with how projects are being referenced now, that something changes. I would imagine the package still works. But the way it loads in Visual Studio won't work. This approach. So, in the interest of time, because it's 9:30 and I got to get other things done, we're going to change this because we're going to be doing an alpha release, even if I think I get it to work, because I want to make sure the package works correctly. All right, so what I have on my list of things to do now is a couple of things. First, I want to ask Rocky, why doesn't, because if I go look at read-only list space, oh, it is. No, I'm looking at the wrong one. Yeah, this is the list content. Why doesn't read only list base implement? So I'm going to ping him on that one because I want to understand why that's the case. The other ones I think are all fine, and we're just deferring to that. Need to figure out what the issue is with integration tests and referencing CSLA. I haven't seen that in Rocks because we don't do that there. Rocks is just Rocks. No, wait a minute, we do. No, we don't, because, well, yeah, we do. We're not referencing another package, we're referencing another project. But that project is only being used by the code that we generate. Rocks itself doesn't, Rocks analysis doesn't reference Rocks. This generator CSLA serialization generator analysis references CSLA. So maybe something changed there. I'm going to have to post to a list for some help on that one, because I don't understand what happened here. Having an issue with integration tests, also switched to artifacts output. All right, so I'm going to end it here because I got stuff to do, and this isn't like critical for me to work on. There's other things I need to get working on as again for the conference to ensure things are working correctly. So unfortunately, I wish I could end where I have. I mean, I think I got definitely some success with the tests. I have to now fix a lot of my tests because they don't match the generated code that used to be there. And so I'm going to have to go through those and change those. But that, again, is a boring thing to watch. I already did that enough, I think, in this stream. But that was to make sure it actually worked. But at least we're getting 6 tests to pass now. The other ones I just need to clean up. But I do have some work to do with this. So that's why I wanted to commit this, because when I have my laptop with me when I'm in Orlando, and if I have a free moment or two, I'm going to look into this. I'm at least going to post this issue to a Discord channel and just say, hey, this is my scenario. This worked in Visual Studio 2022 and .NET 9. In .NET 10, this isn't working, and I don't understand why. Did something change? And if so, what do I need to do to fix this? But I'll do that later today. So with that, I'm going to end this stream. I want to thank everybody who's been watching, either live or in the future. Please subscribe to the channel. I would greatly appreciate it. If you already have subscribed, I appreciate you for doing that. I will be doing a Silksong stream this afternoon for a couple hours, and hopefully make some more progress before I have to not stream for a week. But, you know, I'll be happy I'm going to Orlando. But I will definitely be doing a stream this afternoon. Maybe another one after dinner. Again, it depends on how things I get done and how comfortable I am with things. But we'll see. But in any event, I'm going to end this stream right now. Thank you all for watching. Take care, and I hope to see you in the future.